Welcome to another minisode of 100% Real with Ruby. Okay. This one needs to get debunked. There's so many different opinions on cardio. Cardio makes you lean. Cardio keeps me lean. You need to do HIIT because it's necessary. And people are just damn confused about how cardio fits into all of this. And you want to get lean. You want to have this defined body. HIIT, cardio, training. How does this all work together? I'm going to debunk some myths first and try to explain as best as I can for all of them in a way that you understand so that you can walk away by the end of this episode knowing how to implement cardio, training, HIIT, all of that stuff for you, no matter whether you're 35, no matter whether you're 45 or 55. So let's just start out with this big elephant in the room of HIIT. Is it necessary for getting lean? There's that. And then there are people out there saying cortisol is going to make you fat from HIIT. What's true? HIIT either makes you lean or it's going to make you fat because cortisol. Let's debunk this. First of all, cortisol. Let's just put this one out there so that you understand the role of cortisol in all of this. Cortisol, we train. No matter what you do with the training, exercise, training, cardio, it's a stress. Your cortisol is going to go up regardless. There is nothing wrong with that. We want that. We want that because our body is then forced to adapt to that, which means we're going to improve in whatever cardio modality we're doing. I'll talk about the ifs at the end because they're all the same. We will improve in the strength training that increases cortisol if you can recover from it. If you are overtraining, if you're doing too much work, if you're underfueling, if you're undersleeping, whatever it is in your lifestyle that isn't facilitating the goals that you want, you are not going to adapt to that cortisol, to that stress, and it's going to lead to you not building muscle and gaining more belly fat, or fat anywhere really, because the body isn't in a place to be building muscle. That's the first point. It isn't in a place to be consistently improving. More plateaus. It's worse if you are also then changing your training program because you're not giving it anything to adapt to over the weeks, over the months. But most of all, cortisol needs to liberate fuel because what cortisol does is it actually releases fat from your cells. It also releases carbs, the stored version of carbs, glycogen, from its cells because you need quick energy. Cortisol needs the fight and flight response. So it's going to be liberating fat. Cortisol is needed to oxidize fat, but it's dumping it into the bloodstream, meaning that once this stress or whatever it is over, or when the evening comes, as you go through your day, that stuff is going to need to go back to where it came from. So you're going to go to this heightened place and then this dump, and that dump is then when you start craving foods. You get hungry, you get low on energy, you feel like your body just needs food. And that is when issues happen. So that's one thing to keep in mind there. That is why cortisol makes you fat, because you're not recovering from it and because your body then does things that are not conducive to where you want to be. That part. Now, HIIT is necessary for getting lean. Can we talk about this part? Because why? How? You burn a lot of calories doing HIIT, but true HIIT does not go for longer than 15 minutes. Let's just talk cardio then, if you're just doing on and off cardio in that session. Yep, that can go for a while and you burn more calories in that cardio session than you would in a weight session because you actually don't burn as much as your smartwatch says. You hardly burn that many calories in a weight session. But the stronger you get, yes, I'm going to go on some tangents just so you can make these connections. The stronger you get and the bigger your training capacity, the more that you can continue the same training program over 8 to 10 weeks, you're going to keep improving. You're going to adapt, which is exactly what you want in a training session. You don't want that with cardio because cardio, you burn less calories with the same stimulus over time. Yes, you are burning less calories with the same cardio stimulus. With weight training, you adapt to it. And then you get stronger, you get fitter, and you keep improving. If you don't change your training program every month because it's the start of a new month and you just did 4 weeks, which is what most people do, if they don't do it every 2 weeks. That being said, the goal is to adapt to that. Now, the stronger you get, the more that you can lift in a session, the better you recover, all that kind of stuff. You will burn more calories with your weight training sessions, making it easier to get and stay lean because you are lifting heavier and the training that you are doing is more effective, etc., etc. Yes, you burn more, but the thing is, we do not weight train to burn calories. We weight train to build muscle so that we get lean, because muscle is lean, lean is muscle. Let's just keep that theme in our head. Now, HIIT. People think that there's this burning of calories that happens after the HIIT session. They call it the EPOC, EPOC. That's like 20 to 50 calories at max. At max, yes, you burn a lot in a shorter amount of time compared to steady state, but then what are the trade-offs? It is impacting your recovery. Like, HIIT has an effect on you. It is going to, like, depending on the modality, are you running? Are you biking? Are you doing the stairs really, isn't it? Are you doing circuits of weights or circuits of burpees or whatever the hell? Like, there is a recovery cost to HIIT. Whereas walking, steady state, depending on what you're doing, there is a recovery cost to that as well, but it's much lower. To walking, no, walking actually facilitates your recovery. Walking is beneficial, which is what I'm going to be talking about at the end on how to implement this into your life, so you can get lean and stay lean and understand the process of getting there, because it's really confusing when you're seeing these lean bodies online that are doing both now, the hybrid style. I get you. It's confusing, especially when you see me doing my cardio. You have nice lean legs. It must be the cardio that makes your legs lean and keeps them lean, or it must be the sprinting that builds the muscle in the legs so it looks like no. And there are a lot of people online that are touting this as well. Oh, but it worked for me. No, honey, you just had a lot of leg muscle there to start with. Why would cardio be making these people lean? Why are they saying it? Well, because they were either eating way too much without recognizing it, or they were moving way too little, and now they are finally putting themselves into a calorie deficit. Because there is there's a U-shaped curve where if you are too inactive or really little active, yes, I have the perfect English. Welcome. I hope it actually makes things stick. If you are the little activity person, your appetite is going to be greater than what you need. But as you increase your activity, it starts to level out and your appetite regulation is so much better. But then if you do too much activity, then it goes back into the little activity, big appetite, not matched. Even though at the same time, it's not little activity, it's a lot of activity, but your want for food is a lot greater. So it's dysregulated again. So it probably suppressed their appetites a little bit more. Or just simply starting on a new exercise regime made them a lot more focused on what they were tracking to put into their mouths. So now they're in a calorie deficit because the only thing that can get you lean is a calorie deficit, because there are two sides to lean. You need a lot more muscle mass than you think you need, and you need less body fat. You can do the less body fat as much as you want, but you are not going to look hard, tone defined without the muscle mass. And yes, you might get to a place where you semi-resemble it, thinking you just need to lose that little bit more, etc., or want to just maintain that because you're then scared to increase your food or to get bigger or to weigh more. But that is you looking lean at a lower body weight, at a lower body fat percentage, yes. But you can also look just as lean at a higher body fat percentage, at a higher scale weight, and probably eating 500 calories more. And probably with 10 times the energy, being able to keep up with the kids, be able to do all these other things, and have a much healthier metabolism, a much healthier body, because you're able to eat so many more nutrients in your body, and the more nutrients that you can get into your body, the healthier you are going to be long term. You get the gist. That's kind of the explanation of it all. I want to explain this to you as best as I can so you stop getting confused. That is why people always say this HIIT stuff, but HIIT really doesn't really need to have a place anywhere. Not even if you're perimenopausal or menopausal, like they're saying you need this HIIT training. Like, no, you don't. The reason they say that is because we lose our, yes, high intensity training is so important as you age, but guess what? Just like for my older ladies, the thing that is most important for you guys is to have some form of plyometrics, skip rope, even air rope, just being able to do pogo jumps on the spot, or ski hop side to side, or tiny little box jumps onto a small aerobic step, like literally the smallest aerobic step, so it doesn't scare you. Just being able to do stuff like that is probably the most important thing that you can do. Forward and back, side to side, because those are the type of muscle fibers that you lose as you age. We have plenty of endurance fibers. But guess what? Zone 2 is so beneficial, even more beneficial, the most beneficial it can be as you enter perimenopause, because we lose our estrogen. And as we lose our estrogen, we are losing our cardioprotective hormone, our bone protective hormone. So what do we need? We need strength training for our bones, strength training for our muscles, but we also need cardio health for our heart. And that is where zone 2 comes in. That is where getting your steps comes in. If you're getting under 8,000 steps, you have no business worrying about HIIT training or anything else. Like, yes, I'm not going to say don't do it because you're not getting in your steps, so why bother? Like, it is better than nothing. There is nothing wrong with adding in HIIT, but just know that you are missing such an easy part of it, like low-hanging fruit, by not just trying to walk more. Because you were really not burning all that much in a HIIT session in itself. It's just that you can burn a lot more in a shorter period of time compared to extending that at a lower intensity. That is all that means. Don't worry about the cardio for it, the cortisol from it. Just get on a really good plan of recovery, sleep, stress management, and your food. Your food is so important. It's funny because it's like when we're young, we want to care so much about what we're eating, blah, blah, blah. And when I say when we're young, I mean like and earlier. It's like I wish I actually enjoyed stuff a lot more in my early 20s when my body was like a lot more active. Because something that I noticed when I went to the theme park yesterday, just observing myself against the person I was with, who was young, really young, like kid young, and observing the kids around me and the adults. Adults moving their fastest move so much slower than the kids regardless, and the kids are just like lightning bolts everywhere. Like, they can eat a lot of food because they're more active. They just move a lot more regardless of what you do. They are moving more. Their body is able to do things at a such faster pace. Our metabolisms don't slow down. We do. But we can also control that, and that is why having this baseline level of steps, being a lot more aware of how our bodies are moving, not just in steps, but if you're watching me, I'm doing all these body language things, like just having a higher propensity to move, which you are not going to have if you are not looking after your nutrition. Because if you are undernourished, if you're underfueled, if you're skimping on carbs, especially carbs, you are not going to be in this state of a higher metabolic flux. Like, you need your carbs to be lean. Carbs make you lean because carbs also fuel performance, and you need muscle from your performance, from getting strong as fuck, to get lean. Cardio will not make you lean. Cardio doesn't build muscle, and you need muscle to get lean. Remember the two sides of the equation. You can have all the less body fat that you want, but you are not going to look lean without the muscle. You're not going to get a toned stomach without the muscle. And please keep in mind that ass and abs are both genetic. The way that abs sit, the way they're formed, all that kind of stuff, genetic. The glutes, same thing, because you can't choose where you store your body fat. And I can also tell you that there are Brazilian girls that are hating their butts because they store too much body fat there. Like, there are a lot of women that don't like their legs or butt because they store too much body fat there that are wishing for yours, and vice versa. Vice versa, girls. Okay, now that's aside. We kind of spoke about the HIIT training. I kind of already touched on cardio, raising cortisol, causing fat gain. If that didn't make any sense, reach out to me so that I can kind of explain it a little bit again, but you just need to make sure you're recovering from the work that you're doing. Because yes, cortisol does increase the fat gain in your midsection, but it is those behaviors, it is the way that your blood sugar dumps into your bloodstream and then comes back out and makes you crave all these different things that does that. And also, in a high cortisol state that you can't recover from, your body is not going to be in a conducive place to build muscle, and it's not going to be in a conducive place to burn fat. So keep that one in mind as well. And if you're not recovered, you're not going to be going into the training sessions in a way to improve. And then training starts getting boring because you feel like you're getting nowhere, etc., etc. Cardio stills muscle gains is another myth that's out there, which is funny because if you put them onto the same line, cardio leads to muscle loss, cardio makes you weak, and cardio increases cortisol, cardio makes you fat, cardio makes you lean as a third one. Cardio can't make you lean if it's stealing muscle gains. You see what I'm trying to say? So as soon as we can all put cardio, strength training, and nutrition into different buckets, the better. Let's stop using cardio. Let's stop using weight training as a means of changing our body fat percentage or getting lean, because it's not going to do that. That's what nutrition is for. Nutrition is going to reduce our body fat or increase our body fat. Strength training doesn't alter any of that. Strength training does not make you bulky. Strength training is making you stronger, fitter, more mobile, more flexible and mobile and stable. Like, strength training does so much for you aside from just building muscle. But strength training is the only way to build muscle. Nothing else is going to build muscle. Like, you can actually say that anything can build muscle when you're a beginner. But once you're past the beginner stage, you won't be building muscle anymore. Just because you're feeling a burn from something, you're not building muscle from something burning. I can do 1,000,000 air squats over there and just squat up and down without anything. And after a while, I'm going to start to burn. But I'm not burning any muscle, building any muscle. You get my gist. So I hope that makes sense there too. Cardio alone makes you lean is the other myth that I wrote down, but I think I already touched on that one as well, because that doesn't work. And I already touched on the cardio leans out your legs. No, it doesn't. But if you do cardio and strength training, it's going to lean out your legs more. No, it isn't. If there's no significant muscle mass there in your legs to start with, or at all, no matter what you do, you are not going to get leaner legs. And I'm not saying this from a place of judgment, so please don't come at me. But when I look around, having spent time in a place of a gazillion people yesterday at the theme park and standing on stairs behind women that aren't overweight, like, they're pretty average, like, they are the normal, like, they look like a healthy body fat percentage. They still had cellulite on their legs. And when you realize it, there is no muscle on their hamstrings. So many people do not have significant muscle mass in their legs to be able to create this tight, lean look. It is muscle. You will not get rid of cellulite if it is in your genetics to have cellulite, but you can significantly reduce it if you have a lot more muscle mass in the backs of your legs. But you will never get muscle mass in the backs of your legs if you don't know how to train. It's not just about lifting as heavy as you can and doing as much as you can. You need to learn how to hinge and use your hips properly. A lot of people can't engage their hips properly. They always feel their back. Or they're too busy trying to grow their glutes that they completely neglect their hamstrings. There are so many elements to this, and if you see it in that sense and get excited about learning them, building the foundation, you are setting yourself up for success long term. Even if you're 50, this matters. Like, this matters even more if you're 50. Not, I'm 50, it's too late to worry about that stuff. I just want to hurry up and speed this stuff up now. No. Please do this. It is so important. So important. Like, your posterior chain is even more important as you age, because it's going to catch you when you fall. It's going to help with a lot of things, like getting up and down off your bed, getting up and down off a chair. That is your glutes. And your hamstrings are so important in nearly everything you do. Like, when you're running, people usually get knee injuries and back injuries because their hamstrings are weak and their glutes are weak. Just because women have big glutes doesn't mean their glutes are strong either, because strength and big muscles don't always correlate. Because you can see some pretty, like, there are Olympic weightlifters and powerlifters that don't look as big as bodybuilding bros. And bodybuilding bros can be really freaking weak because they just trained with a different stimulus. So I hope that kind of busts all those myths, because I want to talk about the reality of cardio, walking, and strength training to tie all of this up and how to fit it into your life. Now, I am not going to say never do cardio, because I'm a big fan of aerobic health. It is so important. But the two things that you should focus on the most when starting out with a plan: walking and weights. The most important things: walking and weights. Because it is strength training that builds muscle. It should be prioritized regardless. Don't go adding other crap in until you've went all in on that strength training. Build a really solid strength training base. Give yourself at least 6 months, of eating enough. Get out of a calorie deficit, full stop. And if you're eating 1,600 calories, you're still not eating enough. Boost it up to at least 1,800. I'm sorry, I don't care whether you think 1600 is your maintenance or not. It is not your maintenance. If you were doing everything right, you would be eating at least 1800. So get up to 1800 and fuel yourself to build muscle. Fuel your strength training. Focus intensely on getting really good at building your techniques, at building your bases, at building all of the stuff you need for the gains that you want long term. Because until you build that base, you are going to keep hitting bottlenecks and getting injured, etc., if you just keep trying to add layers on a weak base. Build the base, and then you can keep getting stronger and stronger and adding weight and weight without having the injuries that are there. Keep that one in mind. So lean means muscle, muscle means lean. We want to do that. Outside of that, the next important thing is walking and general movement in your daily life. Your metabolism is primarily your movement. Movement, metabolism, movement. So we got lean as muscle, metabolism, movement. Metabolism is movement, muscle is lean. Lean is muscle. No matter what you do, movement is your metabolism. So you can be on 1700 calories and be like, I'm in a calorie deficit according to the calculators that I've done, but I'm not losing weight. I'm not saying it's a tracking issue, because it's mostly like, I have seen many clients and many women come to me eating exactly as they have said, by photo diaries, by everything. We've come down to it. They were eating 1600 to 1700 calories, not losing anything, struggling with everything. How many steps were they getting? Not really all that much. Sometimes they'd get a heap and then they'd be sedentary for the rest. Boost up those steps, boost up that movement. Get your calories up here in terms of metabolism burnt by walking more, by being more active, by doing everything you can to get at least 8,000 steps a day. Like, do not fall under that 8,000 if possible. Get a walking pad. Honestly, it's the easiest thing, because there are going to be moments in your household life where you feel like just sitting down, but you'd probably feel better from a walk on that walking pad. Let's start there. The synergy of walking and strength training. But we can't ignore nutrition here. Your protein is important and your veggies are important. A lot of people would benefit the most from just trying to focus on getting in more veggies. Protein people talk about quite a lot already. But the more veggies that you can get on your plate in a day, the better off you'll be, because veggies will displace quite a lot. Veggies will make your bowls from this big, like portion size. Portion sizes are stupid. A plate this big to a plate this big, because now it's loaded with salad and veggies and all that kind of stuff. But that still isn't enough to keep you by, to keep away the cravings, etc., because you're going to need a carb source, a starchy carb source, or a grain of some sort, and you're going to need a protein. They're the three components of a plate. I'm not mentioning fats for so many reasons, because people get enough fats in their day. Try not to cook with oils. Definitely do not cook with butters if possible. And think about your plate in terms of, we want half of the plate to be vegetables. Be careful what you dress them with. Get low-calorie dressing. Use seasonings. If you're using spray oil or spray butter or some type of oil or butter that says that it's low calories or 0 calories, it is inaccurate. It is loaded with calories. It is lying to you. Veggies, make them taste good. Put like 0 sugar, ketchup or tomato sauce on it, whatever you guys call it. Make it taste nice. I like French's mustard and I like salt. And I also like this particular spice blend that I use. When it comes to seasonings, please be careful as well, because there are so many seasonings out there. If you look at the labels, sugar is one of the main 3 ingredients. There's nothing wrong with sugar, but if you are using a lot of the seasoning without realizing that it is mostly sugar, you are adding a lot of calories to your plate without realizing. That's just something to be really mindful of. And just because a dressing says it's a green goddess organic bullshit thing, they're usually loaded with like avocado, which is a fat source, which is super high in calories, and you're probably not recognizing that either. So weigh your dressings to the gram, not just eyeballing it. Stuff that is calorie dense should be weighed to a gram, like nut butters and seeds. Like that stuff, actually worry about that stuff. Don't go obsessing and wasting so much of your energy on all the things that you aren't achieving and aren't getting and aren't able to do and aren't able to get, and being so down on yourself, when you can shift that obsession to something more empowering that you are in control of, like what you're putting on your plate. And once you get really good at that, you don't have to see it, like you won't see it as obsessive anymore, because it just becomes part of what you do and you become a lot more better at it. And once you get to a leaner state, you can be less obsessive over it because you don't have to be so meticulous about every single calorie that you eat anymore because now you've built up a buffer over the years. When I started, I had to be meticulous over every single little thing that I did. Now I don't. I had to put in all the time and effort into every single little thing that I did. Now I don't. I still do it, but it's not to the same level anymore, and it's a lot more automatic. And I actually enjoy it now because I see the benefits of it. You don't see the benefits of it in the beginning, so it's a lot harder for you to do. You're putting in all of this effort and you're not seeing anything, and you won't see anything for a few months, sometimes even a year. And that is demoralizing. It sucks. It really does, because you're going to be questioning yourself, which is why you need a coach. And you need to trust the coach and not keep trying to pull out your progress sticks and be like, I'm only going to be here for like your minimum term, which is why I try to encourage a lot of community in my team, because I really flourish off the fact that a lot of my ladies stay for over a year and then they just want to stay because they just love it and they find new goals, and I help them with new goals because I've educated myself for the last freaking like 12 years of being in this industry to help them with powerlifting, triathlons, running, swimming. There's not a lot of those girls. It's mostly powerlifting, adding in running, hypertrophy, chasing squat goals, all that kind of stuff, and it changes. And that's okay. The thing is, you need to have fun with all of this, and this is going on for ages, and I've just really spoken about the importance of nutrition and walking and strength training because it really freaking is. But then where does cardio fit into this? It fits into this as you build up that routine and you figure out that you can recover from it. 30 minutes is a great place to start. Your zone 2, which means you can just breathe through your nose, and it's not that effortsome, but it's also not that slow, that it's like a slow pace. And for many people, I would recommend the bike or the elliptical because it's easier on the knees. And if running is what you want, then make sure that you get yourself strong enough to run. Because it's not about running to get fit. It's about getting fit and getting strong to run, because there are a lot of injuries that can come from that long term if you're not going to strengthen yourself and get the right running abilities. But anyone can run. It's just make sure that you have the things in place to ensure you can run for a long period of time and not a short period of time because you've injured yourself. So I hope this helps. Have you ever wondered about why cardio alone hasn't given you the body you want? Or have you ever been confused with how to fit this all together? Let me know. And if this helped you, reach out to me and yeah, listen to your own lane. Like, keep the blinders on because it can get really confusing. But it also doesn't matter what the best routine is if you can't stick to it. If you can only do 3 strength training days, that's plenty. I have a lady that could only get started on 1, and she's like, I don't know what the point is. It's just 1. She just had a baby. You can make so much progress in just that 1 session. You really can. As long as you focus on all the other things outside of the gym as well. The gym is never enough, even if you do 4 days a week. You have to focus on what happens outside of the gym. Okay? I love you all, and I hope this kind of clears out some stuff for you. I'm trying to keep these under 20 minutes, but there was quite a lot to cover on this one. Okay? Love you.